Romanian Prime Minister resigns as Nationalist candidate wins first round of presidential election. Romanian Prime Minister Marcel Ciolacu has resigned, and his Social Democrat Party, PSD, is set to withdraw from the coalition government, following a significant defeat in the country's presidential race. The announcement comes after George Simion, a right-wing nationalist candidate, won the first round of the election with 40.9% of the vote, setting the stage for a tense runoff vote on 18th of May. Simion, a Eurosceptic leader with a staunch Romania first agenda, will face off against Nicușor Dan, the liberal mayor of Bucharest, who narrowly defeated the Social Democrat candidate in the first round. The outcome has plunged Romania into political turmoil, further destabilizing a country that lies on the eastern frontier of NATO and the European Union. Ciolacu's resignation, a blow to the pro-EU coalition. Ciolacu's resignation marks the collapse of his pro-EU coalition, which had only come to power a few months earlier following the elections of 2024. This coalition, which was initially formed to balance Romania's political landscape, is now unraveling after Simion's unexpected rise to prominence. While the Social Democrats had hoped for a unified approach to the election and an assured parliamentary majority, Simion's strong performance in the first round signaled a clear rejection of the current political establishment. In a somber address to his party colleagues, Ciolacu explained that their coalition had failed to meet its goals. "One of these two objectives has failed," he said, referring to the joint presidential candidate they had hoped to present and the parliamentary majority they intended to form. He further elaborated, stating that the result of the election showed the current coalition no longer had legitimacy in its current form. Ciolacu's resignation creates a vacuum at the highest level of Romania's government, just as the country faces significant challenges both internally and externally. His party's exit from the government and the ensuing instability is likely to have profound implications for Romania's political future, especially with Romania's pivotal role as an EU member state and a frontline NATO nation, particularly in the context of the ongoing Russian invasion of Ukraine. Simion's rise, a sign of growing nationalist sentiment. Simion's victory in the first round of voting has stunned many observers, marking a significant shift in Romania's political landscape. The 38-year-old leader of the far-right AUR, Union for Romania's Renewal Party, who is fiercely anti-establishment and anti-EU, capitalized on widespread frustration with the political elite and EU policies. His strong showing in the election comes after a tumultuous year in which the first-round presidential election of 2024 was annulled amid accusations of Russian interference and campaign fraud. Though Simion denies being pro-Russian, his rhetoric has drawn attention for its Euroscepticism and calls for Romania to reclaim its sovereignty. His party has openly criticized Romania's support for Ukrainian refugees and the country's involvement in the EU's response to the war in Ukraine, framing these issues as emblematic of the government's failure to prioritize Romanian interests. In his victory speech, Simion declared, "This election is about every Romanian who has been lied to, ignored, humiliated, and still has the strength to believe and defend our identity and rights." His campaign has struck a chord with many voters, particularly those who feel disconnected from the political establishment in Bucharest. His support among Romania's diaspora community has been especially strong in countries like Spain and the UK, where Romania has large populations of migrant workers. Simion garnered over 73% of the vote in Spain and nearly 65% in the UK. These constituencies, many of whom work in blue-collar industries, have felt the brunt of EU policies they view as not in their interest, leading them to rally behind Simion's nationalistic rhetoric. Political chaos and the power vacuum, the resignation of Ciolacu and the potential collapse of the coalition have left Romania in a state of political instability. Romania's government will now face an uncertain period of transition, with interim President Ilie Bolojan appointing Cătălin Predoiu, the Liberal coalition partner, as caretaker prime minister. This decision was made on Tuesday, but the political situation remains fragile as emergency meetings were held to determine the next steps for the government. Elena Calistru, a leading member of the independent monitoring group Funky Citizens, warned that Romania is now entering a period of 45 days of political instability. This creates a significant power vacuum at a time when the country needs steady leadership, particularly given its strategic position in Europe and the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. Romania faces a dangerous power vacuum at precisely the time when it needs steady leadership most. Calistru stated, underscoring the urgency of resolving the political crisis swiftly. Simion's policy agenda, Euroscepticism and nationalism. Simion has made his vision for Romania clear: restore Romanian sovereignty and reduce reliance on the European Union. He has also taken a strong stance against Romanian involvement in the conflict in Ukraine, particularly opposing military aid to Ukraine, which he views as damaging to Romania's interests. He has emphasized that Romania must focus on its own national identity and concerns, rejecting what he perceives as the influence of Brussels and Western Europe. His calls for restoring Romania's old borders, a reference to territorial claims involving neighboring Moldova, have raised eyebrows, especially in the context of Romania's strained relations with Moldova and Ukraine. Simion has even been banned from entering Moldova and Ukraine due to his controversial statements and political positions. Simion's rhetoric, which often invokes populist and nationalist themes, is fueling significant divisions in Romanian politics. Some analysts view his rise as a radical rejection of the status quo. Radu Albu Comenescu, a political analyst, told Romanian Public Radio that Sunday's election result reflected a hostile backlash against the establishment, saying it was a clear sign of voter dissatisfaction with the political elite. A turning point for Romania's politics as Romania approaches the second round of voting in the presidential election. The country stands at a political crossroads. With both Simion and Nicușor Dan positioning themselves as anti-establishment candidates, Romania's political future seems to be leaning towards a significant shift in the direction of nationalism and Euroscepticism. Elena Calistru from Funky Citizens warned, "The outcome of this election will reveal whether Romania's anti-establishment sentiment translates into a broader anti-European positioning or if it can be channeled into constructive democratic renewal. Whatever the outcome, Romania's future in the EU, its relationships with neighboring countries, and its role within NATO will likely be redefined in the months to come." As Romania's political crisis deepens, one thing is clear: the country is on the brink of a historical transformation, and how it navigates the coming challenges will shape the continent's geopolitical future. Thank you for watching InfoHub, your source for trusted news and insights. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay informed.